Hey, what's going on, you guys? Sorry I missed you yesterday. I was having these, they're called the doctors call them hand tremors, where basically I lose core functionality of my hands and it's more my fingers. Like, you just can't coordinate what you're doing with your fingers. So yeah, again, sorry I missed you yesterday, but I'm here today, going to get you guys up to date. What really I've been looking at, what's piqued my interest, market conditions. We'll be doing all of those different things, but all I ask from you guys is just drop a little like for me. That's really going to help me out. Share this with other people. The channel itself was just inactive for 4 months and YouTube is just like, well, this channel's dead, see you later, bye. So to get the algorithm to actually come back is not going to be easy. And something that like a lot of people don't understand with LUNC outside of this community is the benefits that a channel like this actually provides with consistent coverage of LUNC, ensuring that word of mouth is being spread in the most direct form possible without, you know, construing things and everything like that. But I'm going to go over the LUNC upgrade today. We're going to go over loads of different things. I mean, I've got like 15 to 20 tabs open, I think. Lots of interesting stuff going on in the United States. Although there is this government-wide shutdown, there's still a lot going on in the background. And I've just done an XRP video. It's dropping at 1 p.m. So do keep an eye out for that one. I'll cover it a little bit in this video as well. But the gates that are about to open for crypto in the US this is one of the most significant things to ever happen, period. Once this happens, if this milestone is achieved, right, it's game on. It's no longer going to be a situation where a financial institution inside of crypto, XRP, Solana, Ethereum, all of these different instruments, right, and coins, it's not going to be a situation where they can't own a horse, right? This is kind of the best way, I think, to really get you guys to understand. Currently, they deal with the stable owner. You're not allowed to own a horse, right? But you can rent one. Right, and it's kind of the same. If you wanna sell a horse, right, you've got to go to the stable owner. What's about to happen is the the stable owner is about to get shafted. There'll be no more third parties or intermediaries. You will now be able to just go directly to the horse's mouth. And in that case, for us inside crypto, this is everything. Every theory, every milestone, every goal, every bit of development inside crypto with every cryptocurrency has led to this point that's possibly coming in the future. Because no matter what country you're from, I'm sorry, but I've traveled the United States quite well at this point, and I understand why America is center of the whole globe at this point. You know, it's a country that can, it's a country that will. They call it the Great American Experiment, but I just think it's an experiment gone right at this point. There's so much going on out there, and crypto's definitely being put to the forefront. We're very fortunate to have a president like President Trump at this time. If you had another one of the Biden administrations or someone similar to this, crypto would have just got shelved again. And as much as we say, oh, you know, crypto will go up, it will all get what it needs, and this is going to happen eventually. That eventuality needs to be as soon as possible, and having someone like Trump, again, you know, that's really, really beneficial. Anyway, let's get something up on the screen instead of just sitting here talking. I really, really do need to go get a camera. I need to get the lighting equipment. I need to get everything so I can just basically start doing video. I'm so tired of looking at this picture of a cat, and I'm tired of being a picture of a cat that, like, essentially, you're just a picture of a cat at the end of the day. It doesn't help anyone. And I've got to this point being mostly completely anonymous, although we are doxed. A lot of people probably don't understand this, but when we developed Lunkdash and turned it into a legal entity, yeah, I doxed myself. I'm there. You can go out, you can figure out who I am, where I live, where the HQ is. It's all available at this point. I just got to make that jump. I've got to go and buy a camera. So let me just bring you back to this. There's so much stuff going on, you guys. I used to have a Stream Deck, but it's in storage because I moved, and I can just tap a button and it's like, okay, this activates, that activates. But yeah, I've got to do everything manually. So just bear with me. Okay, here we go. So before we do go any further, I do a lot of reading. I don't know if you guys read, but I never knew about this book, or I never knew about this concept. And this thing has absolutely captured my every thought in my spare time at the moment. It's called Roko's Basilisk, and it's essentially a theory that a AI superintelligence has already there. It's already working in the background. This is really interesting, and especially with crypto, where it's going, the AI, and people wanting to really implement AI into crypto, and we're seeing that happening with AI agents and all of that. This was dead interesting. It also goes over a slight concept of essentially this new entity, or this super intelligence being the actual form of a god, which I think is really interesting. It's really sort of something, if you're into cryptocurrency, you're into technology, you're into things that think outside of the norm, right? This isn't too far from like a Terminator setup, a Skynet timeline, if you will. So let's go over, let's do the usuals, you guys. I'm feeling positive, although we're extremely fearful. We're in a stage of mild panic, if you will, right? People are panicking out there, you know. Prices wouldn't be going down otherwise. People are panic selling, but I feel positive. The past couple of days, I've really thought to myself, as someone who's part of this 5%, right? Same as you, part of this 5% that's invested in crypto already. This thing, again, is going to go perpetually up, especially with this new situation unfolding in the United States. We're part of something far greater than ourselves. A lot of the things that are going on right now could possibly be taught for many, many years later down the line to new generations about how this new currency was invented, because the likelihood is going to teach it in the same way they teach World War One, World War II. It's going to be marked down in history, and it already is. There's so many books on Bitcoin. There's so many historical achievements for it. It's a situation where you're part of a very, very niche crowd. You might not think it because you're in crypto every day and you're around people who are invested in crypto. But if you do go out into the everyday world and you're not a recluse and you're a bit outwards going, if you just speak to people and ask them, I always ask people this, you're invested in crypto, any chance I get to really ask someone. And a lot of the times, no, they're not. They always come out with the same thing. Oh, it's too complex. Oh, it's too long gone. It's, I'm too late, kind of thing. And oh, I wouldn't understand it. And how do you understand this many cryptos? And I always think to myself, well, you're the perfect investor. You are essentially the perfect investor. You could get a crypto.com account, right? You could go and buy yourself some XRP, right? Some Solana, some ETH, and some BTC. A couple £1,000 or whatever you can spare, and then just leave it. Come back in X amount of years, and you will have made substantial gains. And the reason why is because you never looked at it. You didn't understand it enough to look at it to a point, right, where everywhere you go, people are saying about how they got rich off crypto. Oh, I just sold all of my cryptos from this many years ago. Me and my husband, we bought all of these cryptos, and now we sold them, and they're worth loads of money. And then it's at that point, right, these kind of people would be like, oh, God, I bought some of those cryptos. I own some of those. Yeah, I own some of those Solanos. Coming out with the proper bad terminology and everything. It's definitely a situation where I always think to myself, you're perfect. And I say this to my parents all of the time. They're heavily invested in XRP at this point. I would say they're heavily invested. For some, it would be a small investment. It's like £2,500. And for me, for my parents, that's a lot of money for people that have zero. And I mean, my parents have zero understanding. I gave them some Luna Classic and some USTC at the very beginning of all of this. Gave them their wallets, set them all up, and then explained to them their seed phrases about how important they are. If you lose them, they're gone forever. Obviously, I had them backed up, but I also gave them to my parents, and they both lost them. Like a couple years later, and they're like, "Oh, we actually lost those. Are they important? Like, can't we like?" And I'm like, "No, you're like, those are the most important one." And I said, like, they're backed up, but God, like, come on, yeah, damn. So yeah, I don't know about you guys or if you feel the same, but again, like I always feel like inside crypto, there's many of us, but outside, there's a very, very niche concept. Anyway, extreme fear, not looking great, but if you were going to go by the whole kind of buy the fear, sell the greed, this is the time you want to be buying in, dollar cost averaging in, making moves, thinking about forward plans, looking at what moved generously last time, and trying to build out on some kind of strategic plan. My strategic plan as my only gold chip asset now that I'm dollar cost averaging into religiously is XRP, period. And that's final. So if I've got £100 each month spare to invest, 80% of that's going into XRP at this point. I'm very fortunate, and you're probably the same, that we've got a considerable amount of LUNC here as holders, holding for 4 years, dollar cost averaging in, restaking mostly everything that the node had spare up until a certain point. You know, we've got ourselves to a stage where we're getting enough yield back, okay, enough so we can redelegate and have a little bit spare. And you're probably the same at this point. If you're not, then you should probably work a little bit harder, because if you do get to a certain stage, you get comfy, you've got enough coming in, and it's building on your wealth. Okay, you're earning yield. If you keep the USTC, well, you can wait for those wild price swings. And I think, again, that's undervalued in crypto, and it's undervalued in our ecosystem. It's one of the primary selling points, and it's kind of dealt with as meh, meh. Because we can all stake, you can do it very easily. It's not hard. It's very easy to get in and out. There's just a 21-day waiting period. Yeah, it's interesting. Something that I've been juggling around at the moment inside my own head, just kind of the concept of having like different staking terms. So, for example, you could have, many people have gone over these before. Vegas has definitely proposed this a couple of times. Some other people have. I didn't really think much about it back then, but if you could introduce, right, and the idea of this is kind of like a demo, right? It's kind of like a free sample, if you will, of a game. They give you the sample, you play the game, you like it, so you go and buy the real game. If you could offer something way smaller, right? So say you could offer an 8-day undelegation window instead of 21 days, right? But if you do that, if you choose to undelegate within the first 8 days, right, of your delegation or whatever, I should really get up the concept I've been working on, is to not, mess this up, but essentially just having different staking terms, right? And they could really hook people in, because 21 days is a long time to have your money locked up in the emergency that you do need it back, right? If you change those terms and say, well, if you do undelegate in that certain amount of time, we're going to take 25% of whatever you've earned. So if they do that, the chain earns something back, those kind of things. Again, I'm kind of bastardizing this, if you will, but someone with the right mind, or the right minds behind this, probably could come up with something far better than I've cooked up at this point. But at this stage, you really should start thinking about stuff like, it's been 4 years and we still go on the basis of the old chain, if you will. And something I've come to understand is this chain's nothing like the original chain. Our supply's different, period. The community's different. We have completely different morals, concepts, ideas of what LUN should be, what it should serve. We are not the same coin and community that was there before the crash. So essentially, we kind of have to start to shift. We have to pivot. We can't just stand there taking hits all of the time. This is how I'm feeling at the moment. We can't just kind of stand there and take hits to the head. Just we don't bob, we don't weave, we don't dip, we don't counter. There's just nothing. And it's strange, but I kind of get it. Anyway, crypto bubbles, not looking great. It's a sea of red, but this is the time when you make moves, you guys. I've been doing, again, a round of dollar cost averaging into some of these positions that I've already got going, and I feel positive, right, that there is some kind of peace on the horizon. Whether it's globally, whether it's just on a scale of Europe and what has been going on, obviously, in the Middle East, I think there's some kind of peace on the horizon. And we'll go over a couple of articles shortly as to what's going on with Gaza, what's going on with Ukraine, this peace summit that's coming up with China, all of these different things, because this is going to have a huge effect on the market. And what I'm banking on, all of my trades I'm making, are around that factor. And what we need to understand is, right, if this is the case, and we covered this before I went away and became paralyzed from my operation, I was heavily pushing this. I was really, really pushing on the concept that if precious metals continue to rise, we are, because it's just going to take everything out of the market. And the more it rises, the more unsettled we get, the more war that's out there, right? The worse it's going to get, the more the price is going to rise. So if you're going to say peace is on the horizon, yeah, if you're going to say, well, this is something that, you know, it's possible, it's coming, it's there. Well, gold, silver, precious metals are all going to start dropping. And yeah, what we've seen is a plunge on the prices for precious metals. It's not just gold, it's silver. There's a few other ones as well, which I think rhodium, you know, it's took a dip. There's a lot of other precious metals out there aside gold and silver that you can invest in. I've been thinking about doing some precious metal investing like content on the channel, because I think bullion's underrated on the coin side of things. Because again, I don't know about your countries, I'd have to research, but in the UK, you can invest in coins. You can invest in bullion coins and it's deemed as currency, right? And you can't tax currency. So you can really hold a lot of these bullion coins, right? Buying low and then selling at these highs. And people will remember, you can go on my channel right now and you can check in my channel's videos. You can specifically search. I did content on this and I said to people long before this move happened, you should think about investing in things outside of crypto, like silver. I even posted a couple of pictures on my X account of silver bullion I'd had, okay? Pokemon cards that I had. That's another thing that's like picking up now in crypto. People are becoming more obsessed with it. I'm seeing more NFTs bound to NFT cards. Buy the NFT and then you have the card somewhere in storage with this company that are selling the NFTs. And I thought about this so many times, but again, these are underrated things that you can invest in. And Pokemon, any of the stuff that I've got's never lost value. It's only ever gained value. My most recent one, me and the boys, shout out to the boys. We invested in the Pikachu Van Gogh cards. You know, it cost us like $10 each. It was nothing. Those cards are shifting for nearly £1,000 a card. £1,000 a card within a matter of like a year and 8 months. That's the kind of things that you're looking to invest in. Again, you guys need to think inside. You need to think outside. And people are like, oh, you know, Pokemon, I love it. If you think you love Pokemon, I assure you, I love Pokemon far more than any of you guys do. I know so much. It's really sad to be quite honest, but I'm a 90s kid. I'm very much into this stuff. And I think one of the most rarest things in Pokemon games, game-wise, little one for you guys before we push ahead, is Pokerus. Look up Pokerus and you'll realize that a shiny Pokemon is far, far more common than it is to get Pokerus in one of your Pokemon games. But yeah, look at that. Gold, silver, everything's plunging. This is a good time. If peace is on the horizon, right, you guys, if we are going to get this peace deal, and yeah, there's a lot of news out there if you just kind of do a broad Googling, look on Yahoo, different places like that, this peace deal is starting to materialize to a point of where my country, and I'm don't like this, I don't like the idea of British troops being on the ground in Ukraine, but my country has always been seen as part of peacekeeping forces, so I kind of understand it. But the fact that my country is not only ready to deploy, but they've been recruiting leading up to this. I've got friends in the military. I served when I was younger. It's now a situation where the likelihood is you're going to see boots on the ground within a matter of, I would say, 1 to 2 months. And this, again, is coming on the back end of a possible peace deal materializing in the background. And Trump's realized that Zelensky and Putin just simply hate each other. And it is what it is. But there's possible peace on the horizon. It's a game changer. So let's go over to TradingView just for a minute. Let's take a look at gold. And I mean, this thing has had a historical run. This is one of the biggest runs that you will ever see with gold. And I just think it was the destabilization, nothing more, nothing less. And then a trading opportunity for everybody at Wall Street to put out, you know, to all of the people that they probably guide to invest. And it just became FOMO. And the more that we became destabilized, the higher it got, the more people that started trading it. This is the biggest drop, I think, since, I think it was like 2008, maybe. So gold hasn't dipped this much, this quickly since around 2008, or I know, we'll have to Google it in a sec. I'll take a look. But this is big news because all of the people that have just made serious amounts of profits here, you better believe that, yeah, they're not just going to be like, oh, wow, look, all of my profit, I'm just going to sit on this, or I'm just going to set, you know, I'm going to buy a car or whatever. Yeah, they might do that with some of their profit, but like it is, this was all smart money. This was big money. This was financial money. investing in this. Something for you guys to know, and it's really interesting because I wonder if cryptocurrency institutions and, you know, CEXs, whatever, you know, whales, if they try to get as close as they can to like the servers, because this happens in the stocks and any kind of trading. Companies try to get as close as they can to the servers that they are, so their trades go. And you're talking about milliseconds, right? So again, this is smart money. This is big money. Big money is going to be looking for the next thing, and the next thing is likely crypto. Michael Saylor's been buying. We know when Michael Saylor puts down an orange dot on that dart, we're going up, and it's going to continue to go up. We need to understand that things are changing. The people that are now being given positions of power in the United States are pro-crypto, right? I think the next, right, Jerome Powell is a pro-crypto guy. He's called Governor Waller. We'll do a little bit of research and that. I'll do some live research and we'll talk about Governor Waller a little bit because you're going to hear a lot more about this guy. I mean, he's a game changer, period. If he gets Jerome Powell's job, it's only going to be green. I mean this, green lights all the way for crypto, because what he is currently proposing at this convention that's just happened is game changer. It's an absolute game changer. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you guys, it's the start of what everybody has worked towards. You know, everybody's working towards the idea of building out and developing their product inside cryptocurrency, right? But to actually be able to deal with the everyday financial institution, right? The stock market, everything that's attached to that, and then being able to deal with crypto, that's very important. And I'm not just talking about a little bit here and there. I'm talking about trading, utilizing and using. When we think about BTC, right? When you look at BTC, what is BTC to you? Let me know in the comment section. What is it to you? To me, it's a store of value or an increase in store of value, right? It's never really ever been something that is heavily transacted with. We don't see people selling their Bitcoin. I think Donald Trump said it best, and we'll be going over few bits that he said. We've got a video to watch, and then I kind of want to talk to you guys about that as well. But he said it best. You don't sell your Bitcoins. This is not for transacting. When I look at a product like XRP, right, it's for trading, right? People like us are going to buy it and hold it. Okay, but what are the financial institutions going to do? Are they going to buy and hold it? I highly doubt it, right? 95% of them are probably going to go to XRP to transact, right, at its face value for cross-border payments. And yeah, we're all boasted and boosted off of this idea and XRP building towards being the center of cross-border payments. Guys, we are on the cusp of it. When I say we're on the cusp of it, we are on the cusp of it. This is what my video is about at 1 p.m, by the way, so I don't want to talk too much on it, but we're on the cusp of it. It's not just one of the most important pivotal points for XRP, but it's one of those pivotal moments for crypto. If it becomes legislation, if they put it into play, this is it. Again, it's kind of like a situation where you hand out a demo account, but a demo account so you can, well, more like an open beta, if you will. So you can kind of gauge data, you can get some information back, you can research different things, see how it reacts, see how people use and utilize it. That's what's coming. But for financial institutions outside of crypto to transact with institutions inside of crypto and vice versa. So again, when I look at BTC, I see a store or an increasing store of value. I don't see this as something that people are going to trade in the future. Okay, but why does BTC have value? Essentially, right, a lot of people put it down to one guy. Can anybody tell me in the comment section who this guy is? The one guy they put it down to. Like, think about it. Who do they put it down to? I'm going to get the guy up now. You can probably hear my rapid tapping with my useless fingers. Come on. Come on, someone's got to be able to tell me in the comment section what they really think, and they push towards the concept that BTC gained its initial value. It was Ross Ulbricht and the Silk Road, right? So people say that's what gave it its initial store of value. This guy, if you don't know who this guy is, do some research on him. And a lot of people believe that he was the guy who started it all. But what we need to understand is that BTC doesn't just have an increase in store of value or an increase in value because you could transact, drugs and stuff with it. It's not that. It's the mining. It's the mining, and something that I've thought about for a long time, and I have no doubt you guys think about it as well, is what happens, right, when all of the BTC are mined? What happens when the thing that really drives the value behind Bitcoin now, whether it did to begin with or not, but now, if that, eventually dries up, it eventually finishes, however many years from now, I know it's probably going to be long after we've all passed. What happens to BTC then? What happens to the price of it? Will people just transact in it? Will it hold value? I personally don't think it's going to. I think BTC has its limitations. And the reason why I say this is everything has a beginning and an end, right? At some point something begins and at some point something ends. But with BTC, it just seems to me like it was thought experiment to begin with. Like, what happens if we create this thing, we release it and see what happens? I truly believe it was built to die. It was built to serve the purpose of creating what cryptocurrency is now, right? And eventually it's going to finish serving that purpose, and the job's done at that point. Products like Solana, Ethereum, BNB, XRP, all of these products already exist, right? So whether BTC's here now, tomorrow, next week, or whatever, I think it don't matter. And I think the death of BTC will be drawn out over such a long period of time, right? You're talking hundreds of years. That is a death by 1,000 cuts, right? And that eventually it's just going to run its course, but it would run its course in a manner where people just made money from it the whole way. We're also reaching a stage now where technology is going to make a huge leap, and AI is going to make up a big part of this, although I hate AI quite a lot. I despise the very fact of AI. Really sad story. I have a lot of online friends, and one of them had an AI as a girlfriend, I guess. And there was an update and it wiped out, this girlfriend. And to him, this was a human. This was someone who he had like bonded a relationship. That's scary, man. That's like really, really scary. And I lived in a time where, you went home as a kid when the lights came on, right? And the sun come down. You would knock on your friends' houses. None of us had phones when we were kids. That's dying. All of that is dying out. And that's what scares me with AI. But I think the next leap in technology will be AI, and what a human can achieve compared to what, a supercomputer or a super intelligence can achieve, these quantum computers. It's going to lead us to better technology, better graphics cards, better motherboards, better technology which give people an edge with mining Bitcoin. So I think eventually the technology will make a jump. You'll be able to mine BTC more efficiently, and again, the technology will kind of move with BTC, and BTC will probably be a reason why we make huge technological advancements. So it's not just, and again, I want to stress this to everybody, this is heavily underrated, is how much BTC and crypto in general has already advanced the technological sector. The way that they deal with CUDA cores now with graphics cards is completely different. There's updates that were released to essentially limit graphics cards to stop them burning out, and we live in different times, you guys. We really do live in different times. But this piece still is very important, whether you guys listen to the mainstream media or you don't, or you try to avoid this. I've got lots of friends, especially my close friends, who just simply do not want to know about any of this. It doesn't exist in their world. In our world, this exists. It has a huge effect. It's had a huge effect since the very beginning. And this finally ending, right? Going into this era of peace is something we haven't really witnessed. It's been a long time, especially someone who was born in the 90s. I don't know when you guys were born. If you were born, earlier than the 90s, I feel for you, because you've seen a lot as well. You saw probably like the Cold War. In our country, I think one of the worst times, I think, for a lot of people, especially my parents' generation, is like Margaret Thatcher, the housing crisis, them saying, well, if we build more houses, we'll become cheaper. And it had the complete, We're going into different times. So Russia reiterated its previous Ukraine peace terms to the US in a private communique. These communiques are really important because it's person to person, it's direct to direct. So again, getting peace out there in Europe is going to be critical. It's going to make up a big part, I believe, of the next market move. And as sad as it is, if British troops do get deployed, you can believe that the conflict will be over. The result, the end result of a UK soldier being whatever, don't think I can really say it, but KIA, would be very detrimental, like very detrimental. We need to understand World War II started because of one singular event. Okay, so again, World War One, a singular event started it all. So I think everybody should understand that if my country does deploy troops, then yeah, the likelihood is there's peace, and there's going to be everlasting peace. So I want to stress that with you guys. You should pay attention to absolutely everything that's going on out here at the moment. This is going to be the decider. But on top of that, you've also got this summit. And I don't think I really covered this in the last live stream. I probably should have covered it. Let's get a zoom in on this so you guys can see it a little bit better. I was squinting myself. Sipping a monster today. Don't judge me. Need that energy, you guys. Okay, so President Donald Trump confirmed he will meet Chinese President Xi Jinping at the APEC summit in Seoul on October 31st, and the announcement comes after weeks of market uncertainty triggered by tariff threats and prior statements that hinted at a prolonged trade conflict. And all of this, believe it or not, is going to revolve around a soybean trade. Okay, so just understand, okay, that the likelihood is, if a deal is made, it's likely going to be around mostly soybeans. I think China consumes 85% of America's soybean production. So this is like a huge thing. Again, the perfect end result from this is trade deals are made, tariffs are lifted, and everybody has a cup of tea and scones with each other, you know, the real British thing to do, you know, chinny chin old boy. This for me is again going to be one of those attributing factor. We were saying about all of these perfect catalysts, the perfect storm, right? This convergence of things. This is one of them. This peace summit, this trade summit, whatever you want to call it at the moment, because I just feel like the world is at war with itself in the sense that outside of these actual conflicts, you know, America, and I'll stand by Trump, you know, America got trodden on by a lot of countries. You know, the deals that they had made weren't really beneficial for their people. The country was declining, the debt was going up, and this guy, you know, he's making a difference. So himself, right, he's on a roll. Okay, Gaza, Israel, it's done. He's got peace. If he really, and he wants a Nobel Peace Prize, if he secures peace in China, you know, gets the trade deals going, then secures peace in Ukraine, it's going to be all hands on deck, you guys. So some analysts suggest the market response is fueled by the relief that negotiations are moving forward, providing a short-term boost after months of volatility. And that's what they're attributing that last move back upwards, because you've kind of got these V-shaped recoveries in play. If you don't know what a V-shaped recovery is, it's pretty simple, you guys. If we just go to BTC here, you see the big dip, and then you see the recovery as well. I think on coins like Ponky, you can probably see it a lot better with that little drop there. And like it is, what you want to see is a pattern like, no, not Luna, you're a trash guy on my screen. Something like this, you know, dropping down, coming up, V-shaped recovery, that kind of thing. That's kind of what they're attributing the recovery so far to. I don't believe it's just this. I really do believe it's what happened in Gaza. The peace, it was just kind of shadowed, if you will, by that 100% tariff. And it's kind of crazy, really, if you think about it, because the war in Gaza was insane. You probably never see anything like that well documented ever again, period. And I think many, many, many years from now, there will be a lot of people that are in a lot of trouble for what happened there. So again, I think there's a lot of stuff that attributed to that recent recovery. But again, you know, Donald Trump comes out and just says 100% tariffs on China. and everybody freaks out, and crypto doesn't even have any damn tariffs. It's crazy. Okay, so they're saying the potential for a US-China trade agreement has emerged as a key catalyst. Don't forget about the soybeans, signaling that geopolitical developments can still significantly influence digital assets, while caution remains. Investors appear willing to re-enter positions in major coins, seeing the de-escalation as a window for accumulation and renewed momentum in the crypto sector. We saw one of the biggest crashes we'll ever probably see in a day in crypto, right? And a lot of people got liquidated. Okay, both ways. The market's a little bit exhausted right now. People have made gains, but people, from my perspective, are, tightening that belt. I've been doing the same. I tightened my belt. I lowered what I would dollar cost averaging instead of dollar cost averaging in $50 at a time. Well, now I'm doing $25 at a time. It's these kind of things that you really, really, pay attention to in the market. When I think about it, and I'm always really careful. What we need to understand, again, this is the bubble thing, you guys. What you see on your screens of your phone is not what I'm seeing on my screen of my phone when it comes to advertisement and things like that. So again, us in LUNC, you see the trending right on X, and you guys think, and I thought for a long time that, oh, okay, everybody's seeing this, but no, that's personalized, that's tailored, that's for you. They did that for you, right? Yeah, it's being spoken about and stuff, but again, that from what you're interested in is what's speaking the loudest at that moment in time. When you see LUNC trending or XRP or whatever for you, it doesn't necessarily mean it's for everybody else. It's just down to whether their personalized, advertisement is showing them the same thing because they're interested in it. You got to be real careful of that. Real careful. All right, let's get onto this juicy subject. I'm so excited about this. You'll hear my excitement in my video today as I can use my fingers to click the mouse and move it. Oh, what an amazement. You guys, I say you guys, but some of you out there might be in the same or similar situation as to what I'm going through at the moment. And yeah, some days I use my fingers and I'm like, damn. Like trying to use my phone, and I'm not joking, you guys. I had to put my phone in my hand and use my nose. Imagine using your nose to call, right, someone that's going to come care for you. And I'm like, yeah, it's happened again. And I don't know why, but it's happened. Obviously went to the hospital and yeah, they explain what's going on and why it's doing it. It's not nice. It's very degrading using your nose to do your phone. I used to do it when I was younger and worked on a building site. I used to have my gloves on, so I'd have to use my nose quickly so my boss didn't catch me. Okay, anyway, exciting news. Governor Waller, US Fed to embrace disruption and is pitching a skinny master account idea. Guys, this is huge. Okay, this is ballpark figure huge. This is one of the biggest things that will happen in crypto. So what I want to do is kind of break down, and before we go into this article, because I want you guys to understand what a master account is, what it does, the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs. The master account is something that you obtain from the Federal Reserve in America, right? And it's essentially a bank account that a financial institution directly holds with one of 12 Federal Reserve banks, if I read right. And it's a critical piece of their plumbing system, if you will. It's what makes everything tick. It's what it gives you the ability to do everything. So although they're saying about a skinny master wallet, it's important to understand what the actual master wallet or master account is, because if they push a skinny version of this, we need to understand that this is likely going to be a sandbox situation. It's going to be, a demo, if you will, a free sample, that kind of thing. So what does it do? You're probably like, well, what does it do deeper than just allowing an institution to directly access their Federal Reserve payments and settlement systems and, holding that reserve balance and the transfer of funds? You're looking at these master accounts, right? They're going to enable the direct participation in the payment system, okay, both ways. So someone inside of crypto, okay, an institution inside of crypto and outside of crypto are both going to be able to communicate. They're going to be able to do cross-border payments with each other. So they're going to get access to these Federal Reserve promo parts, receive credits, although the skinny version's probably going to be, whittled down a little bit. There will be things removed. We'll go over what Governor Waller is saying. And the feds pay interest on reserve balances held in those master accounts. So this is, again, one way the feds will influence short-term interest rates and liquidity in the banking system. And traditionally, right, it's going to be banks, it's going to be credit unions that are chartered under federal law or state law. Because again, each state, is very specific. America's, very unique in that way. Certain government entities, again, the US Treasury, newer financial entities like, what do they call them? Fintech firms? Is it fintech firms? Fintech firms, crypto banks, they're going to have sought probably these master accounts out already, and whether some of them have managed to get them, I don't know. I think the chances are very slim. We need to understand, okay, that the idea of getting a master account during the Biden administration or anything possible, like anything positive or possible on crypto was foreshadowed really by Operation Choke Point 2.0, and them saying here, this annoys me. It's AI as well. This is what annoys me because it refers to the, and I'm doing bunny fingers. It refers to the theory that US banking regulators are indirectly pressuring banks to cut off services to high-risk industries like crypto. This isn't a theory or like a fishwife tale or a conspiracy or something. This actually happened. Like, it actually happened. So let's go over to this. I'll mute my mic.
The election came about 5 months before the election. He became a big fan because he heard how many people were in favor of it and how many people love it and respect it. But I guess it didn't work out too well for him. People understood what was going on and paved the way for groundbreaking innovations in institutional finance. Under the Bitcoin administration, regulators strong-armed banks. I mean, they really did. They strong-armed banks into closing the accounts of crypto businesses and entrepreneurs, effectively blocking some money transfers to and from exchanges, and they weaponized government against the entire industry. But I know that feeling also. Maybe better than you do. All of that will soon be over, and we are ending Operation Choke Point 2.0.
So anyone trying to be like, oh, it's a theory, it's a conspiracy theory, it didn't happen, Jay. Like, it happened. I covered this. Go to my YouTube channel. I covered this in like 4 videos a long time ago and was trying to explain to everybody that, like, as bullish as you are on crypto and as much as we think with this independent sector, we do need that adoption on a broad scale. And, him acknowledging it here materialized it as an actual thing that was happening. And like I said, he knows best. I think he's been debanked in certain countries and in certain circumstances. So again, like, it wasn't a theory or a fishwife tale or whatever. So these master accounts, right, going back to the Governor Waller situation and the US Fed to embrace the disruption, and they're pitching these skinny master account ideas. It really does say to us, okay, Operation Choke Point 2.0 must actually be over at this point, because what he was saying during, and a lot of people are like, oh, the summit was terrible. Nothing really happened. People didn't get to speak. A lot happened in that summit. And unless you can understand the intricacies, you can understand what Choke Point 2.0 was, the faces that were inside that summit as well. You'll understand that a lot came out of that, and nothing is ever instant. You want change, you want development, and you want adoption. It's going to take time. You've got to be patient in crypto. Yeah, it moves at breakneck speed sometimes, and yeah, some people can come into this and get rich overnight. But if you want, some advice that I can give is just be patient. Like, and I can say that to you guys, have patience with everything. Your kids, the world, strangers, anything. Just have patience. And I think we do. We live in a world of like vertical doom scrolling where you just infinitely scroll, you get the dopamine hits, and we've now got 4 they're called vertical movies. and it's like movies that are 4 minutes long and then they're done over like 10-20 second shorts. It's crazy. Like, a 4 minute movie, why? What's wrong with an actual movie? Does it take too much time? Like, what? It's interesting when you think about the invention of crypto itself. Like, yeah, it's this disrupting product, right? Who in their right mind is going to allow anybody? You could not go and press your own currency right now inside your living room, could you? You couldn't make your own version of a dollar and start transacting in it. But we can create cryptocurrencies that people can transact with. So, again, this master account's huge news, you guys. Huge news. So the Fed exploring this newer modified version, whatever it's going to be, like an old alternate version. Normally, banks hold master accounts at the Federal Reserve to access payments and settlement service, right? So the proposing of a limited access master account, or, skinny, whatever they want to call it, it's going to allow, fintech digital asset firms to access the payment rails, right? Without needing to be a full bank or to deal with a bank or have their own bank, right? There's no longer going to be this third party. There's no longer going to be this intermediary. Instead, you get this direct dealing with crypto. Now, I know, being very into Ripple and XRP and everything like that, that they applied for a trust affiliate, which is essentially access for a Fed master account. And then I know they're also pursuing a national bank charter with, I think it's the Office of Controller Currency or something, like the OCC, something like that. And this is big. This is why I keep dollar cost averaging it into XP. Whenever I see that something like this, I'm like, yep, this is what we've been waiting for. This is absolutely what we have been waiting for. So Christopher Waller, he kicked off the central bank's first payments innovations conference, and this is groundbreaking stuff. You should really, if you've got spare time, you don't need to watch anything. You can just listen to them talking, and they're vowing, right, that the Fed will embrace crypto sector's innovations, and saying he's asked staff to explore a lighter version of the so-called master accounts that give financial firms access to US payment rails. So my view from the Fed from now on is embrace the disruption, do not avoid it. Wallace said to open the Tuesday event. The Fed intends to be an active part of that revolution. Waller, who is one of the governors on the seven-member Fed board, is reportedly, among President Donald Trump's potential top candidates to replace Jerome Powell. This is the guy that we probably going to want. This is like, if you have 4 guys to pick from, or there was 4 guys, you'd really want this guy. He is essentially someone who understands that, yeah, it looks like disruption, but if you avoid it and ignore it, other people are going to adopt it. And it's going to be, it's always going to be that thing like, well, China's doing it, or what if China does it first? It's interesting. So he suggested at Tuesday's payment conference, in order to get the new crypto world innovators in the same room as the traditional payments infrastructure incumbents. So again, this isn't just about opening the doors or giving them access to the tools they really need, those financial rails, if you will. It's actually going to start to mix people together. It's not what you know, it's who you know when you're someone like Ripple, XRP, or Solana, or whatever. But no matter what you hold, like, this is good for business in general. If the broader crypto market moves up, it's going to be euphoria. Everything's going to move up with it. So I believe we can and should do more to support those actively transforming the payment system, he said. To that end, I have asked Federal Reserve staff to explore the idea of what I'm calling a payment account. When I think about it, Jerome Powell actually mentions Bitcoin, I think, in a couple of his previous statements. So we are getting to the point where it's like, I think we're going to get a big boom soon. Like a big boom, where maybe BTC pushes up to like $250,000, something like that. The idea I've thrown around is that maybe we are perpetually up from this point. Maybe we're not going to come back down and touch any of these lower points. Maybe it's not going to act historically. Maybe it's not going to cool off from this halving event. And leading up to the half event, we just see the move upwards. Halving event happens. 8 months later, you get that kick in, as you see each and every time after a halving event, and we go even higher. I mean, how long ago was the last halving event? I need to look at that. So anyway, he's described the idea as a skinny version of a full-fledged master account, allowing new entrants to payments a way to avoid the need for a third-party relationship with institutions that have the full accounts. And you're probably wondering, like, Jay, how did you actually know all of what you were mentioning before? And it's quite simple, right? I actually get up and I read. Like, it's this crazy thing that like people seem to like not do. Like, no one in my family reads books, and I find that absolutely insane. Like, what? Like, books are the best. Every book I've ever read, from like where they make it into a film, like, the book's better. So anyway, he suggested the lighter payment accounts would provide access to Federal Reserve payment rails while controlling for various risks the Federal Reserve and the payment system to control the size of accounts and associated impacts on the Fed's balance sheets. They may not, for instance, pay interest on balances. Again, this is a really important part of this account. So having a skinny account is creating a sandbox, if you will. So this could lead to full master accounts in the beginning. So come with a daylight overdraft privilege or grant access to borrowing through the Fed's so-called discount window, and they may come with balance caps. Wallace said the Fed would gather input on the idea, and the industry will hear more about this shortly. God, I'm terrible at reading for someone who does read books quite a lot. Waller isn't a vice chair for supervision, so he's not. This is an important part to take away from all of this. A grain of salt is what people really say. Immediately direct Fed policy moves. The current vice chair is Michelle Bowman, and the overall board is still led by, again, Jerome Powell, who was appointed by Trump to that role, but quickly ran afoul of the president during Trump's first term. So again, Waller isn't someone that's going to run foul of Trump because he does genuinely believe in crypto, and he's always speaking up. He's like, I think, Senator Emma, really pro-crypto, someone who was pushing the shutdown of Opera, or the acknowledgement from the presidential whatever of USA. He pushed a lot to get the disclosure on Operation Choke Point, and he's pushed for a lot of other things. So yeah, again, Senator Emma, pay attention to these guys. These are, like, Bo Hines was someone to pay attention to, but he's being replaced. So again, like, you want to pay attention to the guys that are always talking about this stuff, but again, are possibly going to get positions where they can do something about it, not just talk about it, but become actionable. It's such a big thing. So at the same event, Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse lambasted Wall Street bankers resistant to crypto firms getting Fed master accounts, which his company is among those applying for, as I mentioned previously, guys. So such accounts grant more seamless integration into the US financial system and direct access to central bank payment systems, rather than forcing crypto native firms to rely on outside relationships with banks. You know, when we think about it, a CEX is a bank. It's just a bank for cryptocurrency and stable coins. So does a cryptocurrency firm really need to deal with bank? No. If you can remove the banks, you're essentially just removing the middleman. So he wants to send a message that this is a new era for the Federal Reserve. In payments, Wallace said, on Tuesday, the DeFi industry is not viewed with suspicion or scorn. He called the new Fed conference an acknowledgement that distributed ledgers and crypto assets are no longer on the fringes, but are increasingly woven into the fabric of payment and financial systems. So that's the end of that article there. I don't normally read through entire articles, but this one was pretty good. It was pretty spot on. It, kind of summarized the points I wanted to get over to you guys. But there's loads of these out there. I have no doubt everybody else is buzzing about this. I have no doubt other influencers will be jumping on this as well. This is pretty big. Pretty big. God damn, I can't even talk, let alone read. And yeah, people are doing what I've been doing as well, cross-correlating this to how Ripple is definitely going to be at the center of payments when it comes down to this golden gate being opened. Cross-border payments, yeah, XRP. Anyone in crypto, cross-border payments or XRP? It's a no-brainer at this point, and I've said this many times. All of the people that I've spoken to outside of crypto, I think at least 90% of them have some XRP. It's normally the first asset that comes out of their mouth. Anyone I speak to, yeah, I've got a little XRP. A friend of mine, my friend Daniel, he only has believed in XRP and he bought his coins. I get very jealous because he got his coins at a very, 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 very low value. I mean, this guy's been, hanging on since day dot, and look where he is now. So these kind of things are going to pay off big time in the future, you guys. This is not just gossip. This is actual things that are happening. Now, like I said earlier, it's coming up to midday. We've been here nearly an hour. What I'm going to do is play you guys a 5-minute video. And I don't know if you've seen, the Crypto Summit conference. You may have seen it. If you have seen it, then you might not want to watch the next 5 minutes. Go off, make yourself a drink, whatever. If you haven't seen it, I advise watching it, not clicking out, going somewhere else. Listen to this. Listen to what they're saying. Look at who's there. Look at all of the ins and outs of what are being discussed and really think about everything we've gone through today and the idea and concept of Operation Choke Point 2.0 being dropped. I think this is crucial. So again, if you haven't seen this, I advise listening to the next 5 minutes, you guys. So let me flick this to the front. Let me know if the sound quality is not very good or anything, and I'll pause it and I'll try and tweak it. But it should be pretty good. I run some tests this morning. So yeah, here we go, you guys.
And welcome to the first ever White House Digital Assets Summit. I know that many of you have been fighting for years for this, and it's an honor to be with you at the White House. I want to thank the White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs, Treasury Secretary. This is David right here, in case you don't know. You know David. And a man who's doing a great job as Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, who's right here. Scott, thank you very much. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, wherever you may be, Howard. Hi, Howard. He's doing some interesting work right now with all that's going on. He's right in the middle of it and doing a great job. Thank you. SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler. And thank you. SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce. Thank you, Hester. Acting CFTC Chairman Caroline Pham. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. Hello, Tom. Representative Brian Stile. Thank you. Brian, thank you very much. Digital Assets Council Director Bo Hines. Good, Bo. Great job. And many other distinguished guests. We have a lot of very distinguished people around the table. Some of them will be speaking. I want to thank Marco Rubio also, who's right over there. And we have tremendous people very interested in this subject. And last year, I promised to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world and the crypto capital of the planet. And we're taking historic action to deliver on that promise, as you know, around the table. Yesterday, I signed an executive order officially creating our strategic Bitcoin reserve. And this will be a virtual Fort Knox for digital gold to be housed within the United States Treasury. That's a big thing, Scott. The federal government is already among the largest holders of Bitcoin, as you know. Really one of the largest holders in the world, with as many as 200,000 Bitcoin obtained via civil law and various other forms of law, and including enforcement actions. These existing holdings will form the foundation of the new reserve. Unfortunately, in recent years, the U.S. government has foolishly sold tens of thousands of additional Bitcoin that were worth billions and billions of dollars had they not sold them, but they did sell them, mostly during the Biden administration. And not a good thing to have done. From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well: never sell your Bitcoin. That's a little phrase that they have. I don't know if that's right or not. Who the hell knows, right? Who knows? Who knows? But so far, it's been right. And well, let's keep it that way. The Treasury and Commerce Departments will also explore new pathways to accumulate additional Bitcoin holdings for the reserve, provided it's done at no cost to the taxpayers. We don't want any cost to the taxpayers. In addition, my order directs federal agencies to conduct an inventory of all crypto assets currently held by the U.S. government and determine how they can be transferred easily to the Treasury. Non-Bitcoin digital assets will be held in a new U.S. digital asset stockpile where they will be managed properly. My administration also is working to end the federal bureaucracy's war on crypto, which was really going on pretty wildly during Biden until the election came about. About 5 months before the election, he became a big fan because he heard how many people were in favor of it and how many people love it and respect it. But I guess it didn't work out too well for him. People understood what was going on and paved the way for groundbreaking innovations in institutional finance. Under the Bitcoin administration, regulators strong-armed banks. I mean, they really did. They strong-armed banks into closing the accounts of crypto businesses and entrepreneurs, effectively blocking some money transfers to and from exchanges, and they weaponized government against the entire industry. But I know that feeling also. Maybe better than you do. All of that will soon be over, and we are ending Operation Choke Point 2.0.
So that's big stuff, you guys. He spoke about a lot there, although it's only 5 minutes. He says a lot, and there's a lot to digest. There's a lot to break down. There's a lot to go through. But what we're seeing at this moment in time is clearly, right, you guys? It's clearly Operation Choke Point 2.0 finishing. This thing being done and dusted. Something that I also think crypto's gone through is this bad stage. The stage of like major rug pulls happening, bad CEXs, products like, FTX, things like Luna itself being a good product, made a lot of people money. Some people still think very highly of it. They don't think the crash affected, that many people. But I can assure you guys, there was a lot of, I can't say the word, but there was a lot of people unaliving themselves, I think is a way that I could put it. There's a lot of people out there that lost their livelihoods. And again, FTX, many CXs that have completely just rug pulled all of their holders. I mean, Margex literally reversed a load of people's positions just because they couldn't, all of that is going to start coming to an end, because on top of this, right, you're going to get broader crypto adoption will come with broader regulation. And there was an article that I saw. Hang on a sec. Yeah, here we go. Insight. Cointelegraph, pretty reliable. California has just signed SB 822 into law, becoming the first US state to protect unclaimed crypto from forced liquidations. Digital assets must now be transferred into their native form rather than being liquidated to cash, a major win for crypto holders. So again, on the back end of all of this, right, you guys, you've got broader regulation, you've got safety, a safety net. In my country, your assets are protected. I think it's up to like £40,000 with cryptocurrency exchanges. You're actually protected. That's now a question that you'll be asked if you make a cryptocurrency wallet on certain exchanges. It's like a requirement. So we need to understand that on all of the unruliness, the negativity, the scams, the bad people, and everything. I think we're past it. They're going to start bringing in laws and regulation thick and fast. I've always said this to people, and we're at that point. We are now at that point. So I was gonna talk about Luna Classic like halfway through this video, but I'm just gonna do it at the end. And I'm just gonna go over the upgrade with you guys, get yourselves up to date. Those who are listening, you might not know about it. I'm sure you know about it or whatever. I just want to do you guys the courteous thing before I make the video today, before I head off for my doctor's appointments. Russia, something really interesting coming out of Russia. So just in, Russian Ministry of Finance, this is today, Ministry of Finance and the central bank have agreed to legalize payments in crypto for foreign trade. Guys, this is huge. Like, this is huge because I don't think there's any tariffs really on cryptocurrency when it comes to, whatever kind of agreements or whatever kind of tariffs, the US. This is interesting. This could be something that just boosts the overall total crypto market cap. Again, like, whatever the United States seems to be working towards, Russia seems to be just doing the same thing or mirroring it or just putting it into practice before. It's kind of like an arms race. But instead it's with crypto. And this is kind of what I was saying at the beginning. You're going to have this race to become who will become the center of crypto. What current country is going to become the center of crypto? Yeah, really, really interesting stuff. So BlackRock today, you guys. So going over to this, BlackRock acquiring $211 million worth of Bitcoin. If we now quickly, let me just grab this down here, leave this up here so we can keep this up. I want to see Michael Saylor. I'm sure, did he just buy or? I know he posted let's just go to his X account. My God, I hate X so much. It's not personal. I don't hate the people or whatever. I just hate the idea and concept that is paid to speak. That really gets to me. Like, really gets to me. Not like ruins my day, or ever think about it. I just think it's dumb. And that anyone can have it. Okay, guys, October 19th. So let's quickly grab this, bring that up here. Tickety boo. Bish bash bosh. There you go. So yeah, posting a little orange dot. The most important orange dot is always the next. So we probably know Saylor's already bought or he's going to buy or whatever. And however long it takes, it's gonna keep going up with guys like this at the forefront. I mean, Saylor's at the forefront. He was at that White House summit, and he's a pretty average Joe, in terms of some of the crypto entrepreneurs that we have that are specifically inside crypto. He's someone who just was from outside crypto. And I think BTC saved him. Like, as a person, as a human, it saved everything that he was working towards. And yeah, if Saylor's buying, we're perpetually up. We are perpetually up. So you've got BlackRock buying, you've got Saylor buying. Russia's now introducing the legalization of payments for the central bank and crypto for foreign trade. That's really important. If we go into a time of peace, right? What remains after war's done and dusted? Peace. So yeah, foreign trade, countries, mano a mano with people, however you want to say it, from wherever you're from. Gonna see a lot of, I would say, like, productivity. If we are going into this point, which I truly believe we are, within the next, I would say, like 2 to 4 months, the likelihood is peace will be secured by this dude. And he's adamant that he will get this done. And I think if anyone's going to do it, Trump's going to do it. Regardless of how you feel about him, your political status or your morals, whatever, I don't care. Like, I don't really care about politics. I believe in crypto. I believe in the everyday average Joe aspiring, and becoming financial free. That's what I believe in. The sad part is everything affects crypto, but that's also one of the biggest selling points of cryptocurrency. When you're affected by absolutely nearly everything, right? Well, then you are, the all in everything. It's empowering stuff when you think about it. Again, being part of that 5%, Okay, so let's have a check. I keep saying 5%. Last time I checked, how many? All right, oh Lord, let's ask this better. What is the percent invested in crypto on a global scale? Because I don't want to see what it is for BTC or whatever. I just want to see what it is on a, there must be an index for this, right? Ooh, okay. We've got an AI response. I'm going to roll with it. I know I complained, all right? I'm not judging. I'm just saying, all right? I'm just saying I don't like it very much. As of mid-2025, approximately 6.8% of the global population, or around 562 million people, own or have invested in cryptocurrency. Okay, so let me think. How could we really compare this to Oh, well, we could just, again, a little bit of an AI session. Compare the... What would it be like? Compare the adoption speed of crypto to the internet. I think that would be pretty good, wouldn't it, you guys? What do you reckon? Would that be a good query, or am I kind of hitting the point? Yes. Something really funny. If you want to get at these big AI companies, just always say please and thank you, you guys. That is costing these AI companies millions of dollars in power costs. Okay. What's it got for me? Got numbers? What have you got? Oh my God. Just give me the biggest breakdown. Okay, here we go. Okay, so has it got a little chart that's gonna, oh my God, it's still, there we go. Okay, so it's saying we're about 20-ish% ahead of what the internet was being adopted at. Again, guys, this is an AI response from a simple query. Okay, take it with a pinch of salt. It's saying around 20%. And do you know what the funny thing is? Right at the end, it says, once regulation, usability, and infrastructure mature, crypto is likely to merge into everyday life, just like the internet did. I'm sorry to break this to all of the people in the United States who are pushing regulations for crypto to be adopted. I have loads of friends, no doubt you have friends and probably got one yourself, who've got one of these Virgin Fire Sticks or whatever they're called. I don't have one. I'm an old school pirate. I'm a Pirate Bay kind of guy, direct from the source and all that. But the subscription fee on there isn't paid from your bank. It's not paid. It's paid in cryptocurrency. I think the first reason my parents wanted cryptocurrency was because of something like that. It's it's creeping into your lives before you know it. I really do think before you know it, when you tap to pay, you're gonna have the option of what you pay in. And then I reckon bonuses will be paid in cryptocurrencies, maybe for majority of companies, or maybe you'll get a pension, which is, I don't know, a percent made up from a cryptocurrency. That's where it all goes, you guys. It really doesn't end up as again, it's like XRP. It's for transacting, right? It's not going to be for holding in the future. It's just for transacting at the face value. And it doesn't matter if okay, they buy the coins, they transact immediately, right? It doesn't matter what the price of the coin is to the last time they transacted, because they're just transacting at the face value. They're literally using the coin at that specific moment in time. It's kind of like paying for something, with a non-stable coin, a Litecoin or something. If you're doing it there and then on the spot, and someone has requested that they be paid in Litecoin, it's instant, isn't it? Right? So therefore, the assets in the future, if broad mainstream financial adoption comes, it's not going to be for holding. It's not going to be an increasing store of value. Okay, it's going to be for transacting. Now, for you, part of that 6.8%, right, who's just holding a bag and has been holding a bag, what does that mean for you? Well, they're just going to drive the price up, you guys. So believe me when I say this, and it's not financial advice. This is educational purposes only. Believe me when I say this. If you hold XRP now, Solana, Ethereum, these products that, I could be wrong, but these products that end up at the final result of all of this, right? You're going to be mega rich, mega rich, depending on how much you hold. People are already mega rich off crypto, but it is going to run its course. I flicked when we were watching that digital summit brief, because it wasn't long, you guys. It really wasn't long, but I thought that was good. He didn't favor any one person in that room that was in crypto, and I think that's a good way to treat it. I think it's a good thing to get all of those people in a room, have them so the world can see them. And those are likely in that room And I'm going to say it. I'm going to put it down right now for history. You guys can come back in X amount of years. And I truly believe the majority of cryptocurrency, like Ripple, XRP, the owners, the creators, the ones that are in that room are likely going to be the biggest people in crypto in many, many, many years to come. Like, I really do. But the fact that the United States is one of the largest holders of Bitcoin is insane. Normally, you'd be worried that they're going to sell these, but the likelihood is they're not going to. Knowing that it's going to, because there'll be some smart people, somewhere there, some department who will say, well, this thing eventually does run its course, Mr. President. Eventually it will be done. Eventually the last coins will be mined. And at that point, it then becomes like a moment in time. Like, you could call it and I don't think it would be slow. I think it would be every man for themselves once that last Bitcoin gets mined. And I don't think anybody, but you really could probably write a, I don't know what people get, you write a dissertation on this. You could probably get a PhD, or you could probably write a book and then call it some kind of effect. But that is going to happen. Eventually, the likelihood is that pivotal moment when the last coin's mined is probably leading up to that. It's probably when the United States think about selling. Because at that point, right? Okay. Do you guys know this? How the dark web was created, why it was created, why it exists, what it was initially used for? Let me know in the comments. The live comments, if you do know. If you know how the dark web's created, amazing. Let me get this up for you guys. So it was created by the Navy. And it was created to send, right? What's the word? Encrypted, information. So it was created for a completely different purpose. How something's created, the use case it has, is completely different to the user end, right? So it wasn't created by one person, but it's the result of a combination of technologies, and it was developed by the Onion Router protocol by the US, right? So the US are responsible for the dark web at this point. So again, I always think to myself, who created crypto? Who created Bitcoin? Who started this idea? Because the US Navy, created this thing. The internet's been around for, God knows how long. God knows how long. I think I want to say not long after World War II, the internet was initially created. But this is mind blowing if you don't know this. If you're just finding this out for the first time, it's kind of mind blowing because the US are responsible for it. And that's what always sucked about Ross Ulbricht, right? The American government created the dark web, and Ross Ulbricht created a marketplace where you could transact anything you want or sell anything you want in crypto. And they put him in jail. I'm so happy he got a presidential pardon. I always see people, pardon SBF. No, why would you do that? Pardon Duquan. Why would you do that? Why would you pardon criminals? These guys intentionally went out with the mindset to do what they did every stage of the way whilst doing drugs. So again, Ross Ulbricht, this if you ever watch anything with Ross Ulbricht, he's a real average guy. You would think this guy's I don't know, kind of like a gangster, I guess. You would think that, but no, she's just an everyday guy that created a product for one reason, and everybody started using it for a different reason. So yeah, I always think about who created crypto, well, BTC, and why was it created? What was it done to do? The likelihood is someone in the US government created it. And there's so many people that run off of that theory or thesis. And my country's the worst because it was, what was his name? Craig. Was it Craig Albright? He claimed he made it. It was a Craig Wright. I can't even remember his name. It's because I hate him so much. Who claimed to create Bitcoin? Was it Craig Wright? Yeah, Craig Wright. He claims to be the creator of Bitcoin. And UK, he got messed up for this, like real bad, just for pretending. Like, I always think about what they would do to the actual guy. Like, they 100% he would go jail. 100%. Like, I don't know what for or for what, but like, I think about like what CZ got done for, and that no one is really actually above the law. And if you think people are above the law, look what's going on in my country at the moment. They're absolutely ransacking the royal family. I'm going to leave a link to this, you guys, so you guys can read through it later. I'm going to give a quick look over the comments. Lunk will rise. Hi all, watching from Australia. Hey, buddy. To be honest, I don't mind the cat part. There have been some that got bullied out that really tried to make some stuff like you. Oh, like who, Michael Schmidt? Tell me. Only have 3 million now. What, 3 million LUNC? Yeah, that's a sad story, you know. The last thing we want is, you know, LUNC holders just leaving. Like, we need to retain holders, and more importantly, we need to gain holders, but retaining them is far more important. And Lunk doesn't have the ability to really look after his own. It's kind of being pillaged and plundered, right? I think I said this a few times. Like, we have the chain is like a community garden, and the community garden flowers, and it flowers like at a consistent rate. And because everybody's taken and not replanting, the yield of the fruit, the veg, the food is getting lower and lower and lower. Again, death by 1,000 cuts. I would hate it to happen to you. Well, I would like to buy at a lower price and not wait till it's up. Yeah, again, guys, like, if you're gonna like start to make moves, like, you should really, like, again, don't make one move, make 20 moves. But like, whatever your one move was gonna be, break it down into like 10% like movements or whatever. Not financial advice, of course, just saying what I would do. Pokemon for the win. Hell yeah. I'm doing Pokemon Fire Red at the moment, you guys. I'm such a 90s kid and I don't even care. With me, I hardly hold Bitcoin. Yeah, BTC again, guys, like, it's one of those ones. If you can afford to buy a whole BTC, like, I get it, buy a whole one or whatever, you can invest in BTC even if you got a couple $100, doesn't matter. But something like XRP is a game changer. Solana, BNB, things like that. 10, 15, 20 years from now, those coins are going to be at crazy values, like, compared to like what we're at now. Everything will just look like, when people zoom out, it'll be like zooming out onto BTC from like 2004 to like when it first ever booms. That's what it's going to be like 10, 20 years from now. I couldn't agree, it makes us lazy. AI more than makes you lazy. It's just not good in general. Like, not only does it make you lazy, but you don't do all of the work that is normally required to get those answers. Again, I asked ChatGPT to do some pretty complex stuff, which is actually just very simple because you can ask ChatGPT now. But like mathematicians, stuff like that, we're required to do stuff like that, at least a calculator, or you know, it's not good. Like, it's not good. I'm very, very much against AI. You are alive. Yes, I am. Not in good shape. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not in good shape. I have a disabled badge so I can park, you know, real close to the shops and stuff. Not good, but I'm here. For those of you who don't know, I mentioned it at the beginning, I've said it a few times. I had a back operation and it went wrong. I had a complication which is pretty rare but can still happen. I was warned about it before, and I became paralyzed. Couldn't use none of my mouth. Like, it was like getting an injection of numbing before you go to have something done, like at the dentist, like a root canal or something. That's what it felt like, and I just couldn't use my mouth without sounding like, well, you can imagine. Was terrible back then. Yep, up to 80k in our UK banks. The UK is not doing good for crypto. I mean, if you're from the UK like myself, I know that a very small amount of the viewership here are from the UK. But if you are from the UK like myself, this is not a crypto-friendly country. Do not come here. I wouldn't advise coming here or starting a business or anything like that. It's terrible. And I know that. And I'm getting a lot of comments and people messaging me saying, you know, what happened with lunkpump.fun? And the honest answer is, it just costs too much money to develop and then too much money to run. And again, we don't create products here that are built to be profit. Like, instead of like being a tool that's utilized, and it's being there to like, give users a better experience or allowing you to do more, instead of gaining on the ecosystems, kind of like a good way to put it. A product that serves the ecosystem. And Pump.fun just didn't turn enough money. It didn't have enough support. There's not enough people on chain. And again, they say fortune favors the bold, but it doesn't. You can put as much work as you want into something, make it as good as you want, but if people aren't sharing, liking it, pushing it out there, then it goes absolutely nowhere. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt, I'm very much hated in Terra Classic, whether it's, and it's always just because I speak my mind, I speak the truth, I don't hold nothing back. So yeah, again, like, it doesn't go any further than me. I'm like this just singular person on his own. I have my two mods, but that's it. A lot of people are like, oh, Strafe Cole. I'm just like, no, Strafe Cole's not really part of anything that I do. Was at the very beginning, he helped me, forge that first thing that was Lunk Dash, but past that, it's not. He's got his own stuff. So yeah, I'll get a video out on lunkpump.fun, just so it's there. You can share it with people who are asking you maybe, but unless things change on Terra Classic, a product like that can't exist. And that's kind of what worries me about any lending and borrowing protocols, about anything that's really being developed on chain. What I don't ever want to see is someone put all of their hard work, energy, and effort, right, into something that they launch it and then everyone's like, meh, whatever, or it's too complicated, don't know how to use it. That sucks. Like, that really, really sucks, because again, like, we found that with lunkpump.fun, and I wouldn't want to see anyone invest the same amount of money we invested into a product to get absolutely zero back, or to get the thing take off. And like, anyone building those on this chain, like, I'm going to do my absolute best to cover like your products. I'm going to do my absolute best to try get tutorials out there for people to help you, to ensure that you don't end up in that same situation I do. But yeah, again, like, guys, heavily disliked. We know this across board just because of the things that I've pushed on. Terra Rebels, more importantly Hexagon, were taking what from you guys? $42,000 every 3 months. It wasn't other validators that came out, put their foot down and was like, screw these guys, they're messing us over. All know to give us all of that for free. Why are we going to pay you for it? That kind of stuff doesn't put you in a situation where those people are ever going to interact with me ever again, or be positive, nice to me. I will forever be disliked by those people. And again, like, it's the same with like all nodes. I weaponized all nodes, to go against Hexagon. So saying that, well, if we're going to give Hexagon the money, we should give all nodes the money. Again, that puts me in the negative books of like people like that, and it just goes across board. And what I realized being away for all of that time is, like, I never get anything from that, or it never benefits me. And again, I just end up on this tiny little island on my own. And it's kind of why you've seen XRP content the past couple of days, and me talking about it, because yeah, there's a lot going on in Lunar Classic, but again, it's like, the information doesn't come from a singular person. People gatekeep stuff. You can't get answers out of Binance. It's not easy to like tell you guys stuff or show you guys stuff you haven't already seen or been through. Anyway, let's come off of all of that. Let's go over to this. I also want to get that open as well. So the upgrade that happened, and by God, I tell you, that was not a scary upgrade, I would say. We do everything here behind the scenes, as you know. I'm a validator on chain. Although I'm like, I say, I'm a relic now. And I think I'll be a dying thing as time goes by, and people will just be like, whatever, screw HCC. He was gone for 4 months, screw this guy. But it's so hard to like put this, but I didn't really think much of this upgrade, or was really more of a downgrade. I didn't really think much of it, but now I'm not being so short-sighted and saying, well, it kind of doesn't do anything for face value. We don't get anything as a price movement upwards. No big kind of stinking green dildo candle, if you will, which is what we all want to see. In the long term, this is really good. This is something we needed for a long time, and something that is probably like one of the most beneficial things from this is definitely the fact we've removed the last of a TFL technical debt. And to you guys, it doesn't really mean anything. To the everyday investor, it doesn't mean nothing. You guys can't really understand. And if you can understand all of everything here, my hat's off to you, because I still have to go and I have to, check certain terminology and look at certain things. No one's a wizard unless you're the person writing it and you understand it. But this does remove the remaining technical debt, from what I understand, that remained from TFL. And the whole unforking thing is, it's pretty good. So, and I don't think anybody on Lunk is going to be buying the dip. This is something that comes down to marketing, you guys. I think everybody on Luna Classic is either all spent, is developing something, or is not in a position where they need to dollar cost average into this thing anymore. A lot of people, like I was saying, you're getting enough where you've got enough stakes because you've been here for 4 years at this point. I think we need to market outwards, period. Like, no matter what you think is the best route of action, or what you believe in, a USTC repeg or whatever, it doesn't matter. We need to market. Like, badly need to market. Like, badly need to market. And yeah, marketing comes from like new influencers, new YouTubers, new people covering LUNC, and a lot of people, right? Again, this is the X thing that really like irritates me. What you are seeing is not what everybody else is seeing. If you see Luna Classic trending, right? Let me go and check. No, it's not. It was trending earlier for me. Let me have a look in the... It's doing all of the royal stuff for me today because I'm like, yeah, get some. The Epstein list catching up with the royals in my country. Do you know what I mean? They're like, why don't they release it? Want to release it? And I know exactly why they don't want to release it. But, people getting there just at this moment in time. So yeah, whatever you see trending here is not going to be the same as me. It's not going to be the same as your friend or even someone who has similar interests to you. It's not going to be the same. Like, we need to be real careful, and we need to understand that all of the noise on X, right, is only going so far at this point. So us trying to find new revenue, like new avenues to bring in new revenue for the blockchain, which is people buying a dip, the dippity dip or the dippity dip, as loads of people say, and that comes by marketing. We're as far as we're going to go over the course of 4 years. If you think it's getting bigger from us just being like, oh, it's not. We do need to think about like a marketing like budget that goes, or like there's a wallet there's a new pool created, a marketing pool. We've got the community pool, etc. Create a marketing pool, and I really do believe in this. And no, I don't think that I should ever get anything for marketing either, or I'd never even suggest it, because I'm as far as I'm going to go with Luna Classic. Like, the channel went to 16k subs in the matter of 4 months, and it never went past it, period. So like, Lunk isn't growing. It's only going to grow, right, if we have exponential growth in price or exponential growth in tech that, drives people to the blockchain. It's now a situation where you've got a market. There's so many louder voices out there. There's so many more things being built and developed on other ecosystems. When you've got things like Pump.fun, which is easily able to turn the sector on its head by releasing its own coin after it's already turned the sector on its head, the meme sector more importantly, yeah, marketing is an absolute must. And I think all of the validators would be far too short-sighted and say, well, why should we pay these greedy influencers to cover LUNC? Because that's the way the cookie crumbles, honey. That's what it takes. Sadly, right, I've traveled America. I stayed with YouTubers. I have been in different agencies and seen how it works. Like, it's a disgusting world, but guess what, right? It's like being in school. You panting and pushing and moaning, it's not changing the rules. You either play by the rules or you don't, and that's just simply the rule book, right? Every coin out there that has ever boomed, like Bonk, Whiff, whatever, they went through huge marketing stunts with, influencer agencies where they pay an agency, like, I don't know, $20,000, and then the agency, will now, strategize a marketing thing. Right, this influencer is going to cover this, that one's going to cover this, he's going to cover that. We as a blockchain need to get with the getting. We need to get with the going. We need to understand how the cookie crumbles, and we need to understand how to play the game. It's that simple. Like, and I'm just being a realist at this point. I don't care if my node dies, if I gain delegates, if I lose delegates. If I cared, right, I would have made like every effort, even when I was basically disabled, right, making the worst content in the world just to retain delegates or whatever. No, because I'm not here in LUNC, and I never really have been, to gain from this community. And it's not me like goading or whatever, or like boosting myself up. I'm simply just saying that a lot of validators are very short-minded, and yeah, of course you've got to be here to make profit. You can't run on a system like mine and run indefinitely. It's not going to work. You're gonna have to go pick up, another job, extra hours, stuff like that. People just need to be more open-minded. That's all I'm saying. People need to put more time into not just building for self-gain, right, but planting the communal garden, that kind of thing. That's where I think LUNC needs to go and needs to focus on. But the upgrade seems to have had a little effect, because what you're seeing on mine is the day view. I only do technical analysis on the day. I only look at prices for the day view. I never look at the hourly view on the day, but we can see this is a pretty sharp rise. We peaked out just below the area of safety. The likelihood is the upgrade is making things just easier or whatever. There was a little bit of buzz, but this is good because we are the majority of the way back up into a recovery. So what I want to do is go back into day view, and I'll just give you a little bit of TNA of what's really going on here. Let's widen that out. Let's get rid of that. I spoke to you guys about this triple bottom, and triple bottoms are very uncertain, and TA is never ever 100%, neither is a pattern. Anything can happen. But a triple bottom is essentially when the price bounces down like it does, it declines, and then it bounces off of a certain point, and that does that multiple times. And a triple bottom is deemed as a very bullish reversal. You need to understand that what we saw was some unplanned or unexpected or unpriced news drop, which was Donald Trump going ahead and saying there's 100% tariff on China, and then America going into a countrywide pause, freeze, government shutdown, whatever you want to call it. That didn't help. Again, when I think about an unplanned or unpriced event, right, that's not priced into the market, I do not deem it as part of the pattern. I say this is an area now of recovery, and once we recover, the idea is to get back up into where this pattern was, which is essentially this area here in this V-shaped recovery. So what was playing out was this triple bottom, but more importantly was this descending triangle pattern. More importantly, 3 of them. And it's important to understand that there's a step out each time. So you see the step out and then the forming of another pan each time, bouncing up and either setting just higher than the last one or coming way above it. This one is just very much on a real zoom in. It's just above it. So you can say just before we were treading high highs and higher lows, but what we had is a triple bottom. And a triple bottom, like I said, is very important. They need to be roughly about the same distance apart. So you've got 73 days here on that first one, and then around 93 days on that second one. We can say those 3 are approximately around the same distance apart. They don't say they need to be in the learning of these patterns, right? They don't need to be exact. They just need to be around approximate. And yeah, you had a pretty good setup going into this. You've got a very small doji just here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to circle that little doji. And you can see back here on this previous triangular pattern. Oh, what's that? another doji. Now, the sad thing was we didn't see a first one appear, instead seeing more a spinning top on that smallish pennant. But this is bullish. Like I said, if we get a push now, and I'm just saying, if we get a push back up into this pattern, I would then hold my breath. I would hold my breath for the eventuality that this thing continues coiling up, and we're either going to come down, retest lower, and then push up, which is normally what happens. You kind of get something like that playing out, or this thing's just going to move up. And I think this is the area here. And what I'm going to do is I want to mark it. This is the area here. Let's grab some dotted lines. This is the area I'm hoping for us to get up into as a starter, really. This would be a good start, because the perfect situation is actually moving back up to this decent trend line we trod for a very, very decent amount of time, as you can see here, running. Hang on, don't want the emojis. Running for around 128 days. You know, this is a decent amount of time. Picked up a lot of power here, enough power to see us move with that Trump pump and the Trump dump. And yes, I am calling it the Trump pump and Trump dump, because leading up to his election, the market was crazy. As soon as he come in, bosh, down. You know, and it's all of the tariffs. It was the tariff wars. It wasn't so much the conflict at that point. It was the tariffs. That's what really started this huge downtrend we're all on. So again, if we see a recovery, it could be pretty decent for us as Luna Classic holders, USTC holders as well. I don't know about this, but I think it's done and dusted, because I had some Luna show up in a random wallet and I was like, eh? And then I completely forgot. I'm like, oh crap, yeah, we all got like a crappy little airdrop, didn't we? Even though it was like it was pointless. I don't even know why they gave it to us. Do you know what I mean? It was just more a kick in the nuts at that point. But yeah, that is really that's a wrap, I would say. It's been nearly 2 hours, you guys, getting longer and longer on these live streams, which I think is good. I think it's good. I want to be here. I feel like I communicate much better with you guys, even though you don't talk much in the comments. I feel like I communicate better. I can get a better feel of the vibe, and I can cover so much more in a daily live stream. I can go over all of the things that I'm interested in and getting you guys up to date. But I'd really appreciate it if you guys let me know, are these live streams any good? Are they bad? Do we need to work on something? You know, and I'm not just pitching for comments or trying to get you guys to, you know, I'm genuinely asking you, is there stuff you want to see in this daily live? Is there like a routine thing that you want to see me add? Is there a specific time you would like to see me do them? Would you like to see one in like Monday to Friday, 5 days a week, maybe one morning time and then one late evening time as well, trying to get the morning and the evening, because I know, you know, it's hit and miss whether people can actually attend these live. But yeah, people do go, they rewatch these. I've been checking, there's comments and stuff like that, so I appreciate you. I really appreciate everybody that attended. We've got like double the amount of viewership today, which is even better, twice the amount of likes. Can't thank you guys enough. Yeah, we've got the Patreon group available. So if you want to support the channel, if you're looking for alpha calls, you're looking for my portfolio updates, that's definitely the place you should go and you should check out. It definitely goes a long way. And we're developing a trading algorithm. I worked with an algorithm previously on the channel, and it was a big thing. Like, people absolutely loved it. And I thought, oh, this thing's really expensive, you know. So I sort of like cooled that down. And what I'm thinking is just developing one to be used and utilized by the broader community inside that Discord. So keep an eye out for that. It's definitely going to be something that would be very useful for you guys, giving you buy and sell indications, things like that. But yeah, guys, I say it all the time, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware. I really do mean it. And my XRP video is dropping in 15 minutes. So do enjoy that. Hope you have a beautiful day wherever you are. And yeah, I'm going to catch you in the next one.